All statements in this video are alleged. Do not send hate to anyone shown or mentioned in this video. Ragebait, a social media trend taking the internet by storm, promotes hateful ideologies by spreading them to create outrage and gain attention from the masses. It is eroding the internet from the inside out, all in the name of views and money. Hello, my name is Pseudonymity, and today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into Ragebait, which has been popularized recently. If you enjoy this video or have any topics you'd like to hear me talk about in the future, comment them down below. Thanks so much for watching. Now let's get started. Ragebait is more common than ever, and it isn't talked about enough in my opinion. For those who don't know, Ragebait is when a creator purposefully says or does something controversial on the internet to receive backlash for attention or money. The more attention a video gets, the more interaction it receives. And when a video has lots of interaction, it tends to be quite profitable for creators. The desire for attention, interaction, and money are resulting in more Ragebait than we've ever seen. So I want to dive into each of these incentives individually, as well as Ragebait's similarity to clickbait and the impact that it has on the internet as a whole. The first incentive to post Ragebait is attention. Many people on the internet are starved for it and are willing to do anything for the attention they crave. It's addicting, and one taste of it can change a person's reasons for posting content in the first place. An addiction to attention promotes selfish thoughts that ignore the feelings of others for their own, spreading immeasurable negativity. They want to be thought about, even in a negative way, which throws morals out the window. And with no morals, these people flood the internet with horrible takes that are specifically designed to upset people. Occasionally, creators will purposefully waste items just to post videos of it on the internet, creating a cycle of wasting, posting, and commenters hatefully responding. On top of attention, interaction also encourages creators to produce these videos. Interaction is very integral to any creator, as it includes things like views, likes, comments, and shares. Social media platforms often give creators analytics filled with statistics of the interactions on their page. The purpose of having analytics so readily available to creators is so they can understand and cater to their viewers. Over time, these analytics have made it very apparent that the most effective method for gaining interaction is inducing outrage in viewers. Since this negative content receives so much attention, social media platforms don't try to stop Ragebait because of its lucrative nature, which brings me to the last incentive for Ragebait: money. Money plays a huge role in most decisions in our society, and when money can be easily obtained, people choose to follow money instead of morals. I think it's relatively clear why companies refuse to remove the majority of Ragebait creators from their platforms. Money is really important in most corporate decisions, and it's not surprising that it applies here too. Ragebait is unavoidable at this point, and it's extremely frustrating that social media platforms refuse to do anything about it. I think that a lot more can be said about the issues with large corporations and their greed, but I think I might focus on that in future videos more. On top of attention being addicting, money is even more addicting to people, even outside of these companies. It can give you lots of power, and it leaves us wanting more and more. However, creators fail to see the issues with their actions because they are blinded by the attention, money, and power they receive with their content. I think that these incentives can align with the reasons that clickbait was so common at one point. As the internet has evolved, clickbait has become more accepted, and with more content being uploaded each day, clickbait just isn't as common as it used to be. This is a positive, of course, but I want to dive into why I think that Ragebait is the new, worse version of clickbait. When you look at content now versus content in 2018, long-form videos were significantly more common because of YouTube's established platform for long-form content. At the time, Musical.ly was the only popularized platform with short-form content readily available, and it wasn't that popular compared to the TikTok we know today. Before Musical.ly, there was Vine, but it was shut down shortly after its rise, leaving a gap between these apps and their growth. Because short-form content didn't have a consistent platform to be posted on, it wasn't very popular, and most Vine creators went to YouTube after Vine's untimely demise. Long-form content typically requires clicks, but short-form content is rarely clicked on. Now you can just swipe and have a new video available to you that you didn't specifically choose. So instead of having to get people to pick your video, now you have to get people to keep watching your video based on the first few seconds they see or hear, which is why I think that clickbait is a less evil version of the Ragebait we see today. Ragebait has changed the internet to an extent that is impossible to ignore, and I think that viewers have a certain role in allowing Ragebait to exist. As viewers, we should acknowledge the reality of the creator landscape. I think that the TikTok ban has proven how untruthful creators can be after they revealed their secrets shortly before the app went dark. So I don't understand why we would believe the image that these creators portray in the first place. We should use critical thinking, especially on the internet. When someone is constantly posting negative content, it should be clear that they are doing it to bait negative responses. However, when someone posts one bad take that heavily contrasts with their usual content, odds are they didn't intend to upset people. Either way, sending harsh comments with the intent to hurt someone rather than to educate them is completely unnecessary. One person has simply made a mistake and the other has purposefully induced outrage. If someone made a mistake, educating them with harsh words won't teach them anything, and it will only result in more negativity. If someone is purposefully upsetting people, they want outrage, so giving them the attention they want won't change their actions in the future. I think that it is so common for us to get so bent out of shape by a bad take. There definitely are times that we should be upset, and rightfully so, but I think that we can't treat every issue the same. Firstly, we need to stop sending threats completely, full stop. I feel like that's a pretty obvious statement, but clearly it isn't. Threats are never appropriate no matter how upset you are. Actually, they harm everyone in this situation and block valuable information that could be used to educate the creator rather than shaming them. Also, we need to evaluate the situation and decide an appropriate response in the first place. This would stop lots of people from sending threats at all, in my opinion. If every issue is met with the same amount of backlash, it begins to mean nothing. When an extremely negative reaction is expected, even in a small, insignificant controversy, no one cares anymore. They just assume that every problem is stupid and inconsequential, and we can't really blame them. If extreme hatred is the standard, then why would anyone be surprised that it's happening again? This is why it's so easy to make ragebait content and get the attention that creators crave. All it takes is one spark and the internet is ablaze. So how can we stop ragebait and extreme negative reactions? I think it would be unrealistic to assume that a single person could change the mob mentality, but individually, we can work to improve our own responses by sending positive and constructive comments. I know I've said this a lot, but responding to ragebait can give it interaction and attention even if it wasn't your intent. When you respond to ragebait content, chances are that more of these videos will be recommended to you through social media algorithms. Even just watching a ragebait video can get more recommended to you. The best thing you can do to avoid ragebait completely is to block these accounts. The problem with this suggestion is that you can't block people on YouTube. You can only ask YouTube not to recommend certain channels or videos, and it hardly works in my experience. The only time these videos stop showing up for me is if I report them, which only does so much. You should never ever report videos if they don't go against the community guidelines, of course. And if you do, these reports can cause your future ones to be ignored or flagged, even if they are legit. On YouTube, you often hit a dead end with trying to block creators. So here's another way to avoid ragebait. In this video, I've tried my best not to mention or show any specific creators that focus solely on ragebait. That is why some of the visuals on screen might not be credited like I normally like to. I don't want to give them any more attention than they already have. Normally I wouldn't do this, but it doesn't feel right to be giving these people the attention that they're working towards so that they can upset more people. I've also noticed that other commentary and reaction creators have tried their best not to mention anyone by name as well. When talking about ragebait content, ignorance is bliss. And when the time comes that ignorance begins to lack bliss, it will only be for ragebait creators when their online careers inevitably fail and their digital footprint haunts them every time they have to write a job application.